Uncovering business opportunities is vital for the success of your company. Whether you are the CEO, a commercial director, running a team in business development, or a business analyst, uncovering business opportunities is absolutely essential. And sales data can really help you to do that. And if you are looking for extraordinary results, you may want to start, let's say, with doing things different in your sales data analysis. We are going to discuss a very simple, fast way to actually do that. My name is Tim Verhagen. I worked at several large corporations at DSM, Mitsubishi Chemical Group, work with numerous of consultants like McKinsey and Deloitte, R&G. And also I am the founder and managing partner at the company 10ops, the opportunity company. I'm going to take you through a short journey, really looking at sales and doing things different during the analysis. Forget about looking at averages or consolidated data, because a lot of details and a lot of opportunities are really hidden. There is no need to make use of expensive software, no need for complex or lengthy analyses. This really can be done in a different way. One of the benefits that I will explain is that it is a relatively simple approach. It can be done very fast and also at relatively low cost. So you can simply use Excel, maybe in combination with automation, but no need for expensive software. The other part is also to make it very visual. Not everybody is used to looking at data and extracting information out of that. So having a visual approach can definitely help you. And also it will help to really understand your business, to gain insights and also extract business opportunities out of it. So let's dive into it. For today we are going to look at sales prices mostly. We have a couple of tools that we typically use, and we are going to look into a probability plot, a very visual representation of your sales data, and also see how we can extract insights and also business opportunities out of this to grow your business. Imagine that you have your own company, you are selling whatever you have in mind. And of course, let's say at the top line, you are creating revenue, you have a certain price, you have an amount of units that you are selling. And of course, by detracting the costs, the total expenses, you arrive at the bottom line, at your profit, sometimes also called net income. Very simple. Today, we are going to make an analysis based on the price. As said, the devil is in the details, so we really would encourage you to use granular data, as much granular as possible, preferably, let's say, at sales transaction level. As you can see, you can also organize that data in a certain way. It will take you a couple of minutes to actually do that. So what you see there is a screenshot of Excel. You see the transaction, you see the date, the customer, the market segment, and of course also the price, the costs, the margin, the number of units that you are selling, etc. And in the end, you also see the Z value. This is a standardized formula in Excel that can help you to determine whether data is normally distributed or not. We will dive into that, but it's simply done, let's say, in a matter of minutes, standardized in Excel. So if you prepare your data like that, and as said, it will take you a couple of minutes, you can create a probability plot. And a probability plot is a representation of your sales data, of your sales transactions. So as said, every data point that you see here is a single sales transaction. So in total, of course, those add up, let's say, to 100%. And at the bottom, you see an imaginary price in euros per unit. So that means, let's say, the dot completely on your left is around €3 per unit. And on the top right, you are even above €30 per unit. So what else can you see in this probability plot? The 50% line, the median line, shows you that 50% of the sales data is below €17 per unit. And 50% of the data is actually above €17 per unit. The other part is that the bottom part, the bottom 25% are below 16 euro per unit. And then of course you also have the top 25% above the 75% line. That is 25% of your sales transactions, and these are around 18 euro per unit and above. So what you can see here is that there are actually 3 different patterns. Normally, if you add all the data and you see one straight line, that means that all your data has a normal distribution. Actually, in this case, and that is something that you see in many businesses, you see different slopes in this probability plot. And that also means that in each of the groups that you can recognize, and in this case we can distinct 3 different groups, that there are also different root causes and different business opportunities behind these different groups of sales transactions. If we go to group number 1, we see that there's around 5% of your sales data is below 15 euro per unit. And by analyzing this group of data, we saw actually 2 things. It can be, for example, samples where you have somewhat lower margin that you use for business development. And there we often see the opportunity to automate this channel, to digitize this, and also, let's say, reduce your cost to serve in this area, and to also actually scale it, not in a linear way, but in a very efficient way. The other part, what we see in group 1, is often high volume price buyers. So also there you might want to formulate a different strategy on how to serve these customers. In number 2, group number 2, it's around 80% of the sales transactions in this imaginary example. And there you see in group number 2, there are actually 2 parts. The lower bottom of group number 2, these are typically your occasional buyers. You have a very transactional relation with them. And there you also might want to see, hey, what are options to reduce my cost to serve? Also, let's say, to further improve my margin. The top part in group 2, there you actually see those are the more strategic customers. These are the decision-making units. There you have direct relations with the OEMs, you do joint developments, you create really value for your customers, and therefore also often you can ask for a higher price. You also want to argue, hey, maybe I should allocate even more resources on this portion of the business. And then of course we have group number 3, and if we analyze a bit more about group number 3, around 15% of sales transactions, there you often uncover, hey, those could be new segments with a higher growth potential. You would need some smart tools to really get some market intelligence around this part to see, hey, where are one-off opportunities, but also where are opportunities to really multiply. And maybe question yourself, for the future of my company, should I even allocate more resources towards this group? And then the question, of course, is how to do that, because your resources are distributed among, let's say, that whole spectrum of sales transactions. What you could do, let's say, and also already discussed for group 1 and the bottom part of group 2, you might want to reduce cost to serve, you want to free up some resources, and you can do that, let's say, by automating, by really digitizing these kind of transactions, and by doing that you can even add value to customers and even improve customer satisfaction. But of course, in the meantime, you're also able to do a bold resource reallocation and really shift these to the bottom of, or let's say to the top of group number 2, or even also, let's say, to group 3, because there you see the really big new strategic growth buckets for your company. So bold resource allocation from the bottom part of this curve towards the top part of this curve is typically a very good strategy to do. So when do you do these kind of analyses? Of course, any strategy development should start with a thorough analysis of your business. We often see companies that start with a really high level vision, and yes, that is important, but to do a thorough analysis of your business, or also an analysis of your sales data, is absolutely vital to get a really good understanding what the levers are to really improve your company. Of course, that is not something that you do every 2, 3, 4 years. You need to do this, let's say, on continuous basis. The world is changing, so you also probably want to make this part of your continuous improvement process. And as indicated, this is not rocket science, this is simply good business practice. As you can see, you have the ability to analyze hundreds of thousands of line items. Very simple approach in Excel, very low cost, very fast, can be done, let's say, in minutes. You can make a very visual representation, just making sure that you also are appealing to a larger audience. It creates understanding of your business, also fuel data-driven discussions, really gain insights, and of course also create business opportunities out of these. So I'm very much interested in what your business opportunities are. If you are going in this direction and start this journey, if you want to analyze your sales data in a different way, as said, forget about averages, consolidate it, keep in the details. That doesn't mean it has to be complex. It's actually the other way around. So looking forward to support you with that. And if you want to, let's say, reach out, feel free. My email address over there, and you also can go to my website. Thank you. I'm looking forward also seeing you in the next episode.